What's going on, everybody? Welcome in. This is BearNation.com. Welcome back to another video, guys. And today we're going to be ranking NFL, NFC, or AFC divisions. I'm not sure by the time of the recording what version you guys are going to be watching, either the NFC one or the AFC version one. But what I do know is that the NFC version is going on first, which I'm pretty sure it should be out on either. It should have been already out by now if you guys are watching this by a later time. But if you guys are watching this like on Monday or something like that this week, it should be, or I mean a Wednesday, it should be up on like Wednesday, and I have another one coming up on Friday. So it basically depends determine on what version you guys are watching here at this time. Like I said, if you guys already, make sure to hit the like and that subscribe. I really do appreciate y'all for being here. If you guys aren't already, make sure you guys hit that. Follow me on Twitch and Discord. Really do appreciate that. If you guys join the Discord, really do appreciate that, your support. And if you guys as well, go check out our merch shop. And if you guys are interested as well, any Rocket League players out there, if you guys are interested, sign up for our 2v2 Rocket League tournament. Big shows, please do so. Really do appreciate y'all support and love. So without further ado, guys, we're going to go ahead and hop right into it. We have a lot to talk about here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get the ranking. If you guys haven't checked out our shop yet, make sure to please do so. The link will be in my description. Also, you guys can check it out on our Discord. If you guys haven't joined that yet, make sure to please do so as well. And make sure you guys hit this redeem code up here on your final purchase or whatever deal that we're on. Right now, we're on 25% off the shop. That will change eventually, so make sure to go check that out. Get every 25% off all the store or whatever code that we're on, or whatever redemption that we're on there, and you guys can get some awesome stuff. We have shirts, we have t-shirts, we have aprons, we have long sleeve shirts, we have coffee mugs, we have pants, we have matching outfits, all that fun stuff. And you guys can get it in 3 different logos here. We have the Money Lord Tradition logo, we have the Money Lord Nation logo, and we have the Money Lord Sign logo all by itself. And we have everything available for you guys in all different platforms, all that stuff. Like I said, if you guys already, hit my link in the description, check out our store. I really do appreciate y'all, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get things going here. One more thing for you guys. If you guys are interested in joining in our Rocket League tournaments for a championship series, make sure you guys please do so. This is going to be a lot of fun. So basically what this is we're going to have a full season of Rocket League tournaments, and we're going to do 5 tournaments a season here. As you guys see here, we have a Fall Showdown, Halloween Clash, Winter Showdown, Spring Showdown, and our Summer Showdown. We're going to have 5 tournaments, which is the Summer Showdown will be the big tournament. We'll have 5 tournaments a season where you guys should be able to compete. We'll have a tournament champions for every single tournament. We'll have a season leaderboard of players that are in the tournament and participating, and then we'll have a season champion at the end of each season. We're going to be doing this every single year, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And depending on what tournament we're on or whatever segment that we're on this, really do if you guys hit my link in the description, you guys can start signing up for the tournament. Like I said, everything is free entry. Make sure you guys please sign up. Really do appreciate it, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. Hope to see you guys there. Alrighty, folks, and we are back here at the list here, and I think it's pretty simple here. I mean, we're gonna go from worst to best here, so if you guys can look at it, no need for me to explain anything, so we're gonna go ahead and dive right into it. So starting things off here with team number 16, the worst team in the NFC currently, and I think everybody knows that is the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, they're just a completely rebuilding process, right? I mean, it's a team that's not really focused on winning right now. They're trying to develop what they can do to build out the future. I think that's what the mode of the Arizona Cardinals are. That's why I think the spot that they're in going into this season, and I'm not really expecting this team to really go out and just ball out. Like I said, they actually do have some studs like Trey McBride. You might have to watch out for him because he might be one of the best tight ends in football currently. But this roster is just not great, right? It's not great. They're just basically rebuilding on what's going to happen in the future, not really too focused about winning right now. So they're going to start with number 16. Next up, we got number 15. And guys, let me tell you, when this list was hard to make, it was hard to make, okay? It wasn't easy here. But 15, I mean, I'm sorry to say it, but I think I'm actually going to give this one to New Orleans Saints. I mean, I like the Saints, don't get me wrong. I don't think they're a bad team once and forever because, like I said, the NFC The NFC is a very tough conference this year. There's going to be a lot of good teams in it, but as roster construction wise, I think the Saints is actually right there with the Cardinals. And I do think they are better than the Cardinals, but I just don't really like the position that they're kind of in right now. But just because they're kind of in like in this middle of a rebuild, I don't know what the Saints are really going on towards to. But what I do know for the Saints is that I do expect them to beat some teams that I wouldn't really expect this year. They are kind of retraining their core that they had. Like Alvin Kamara still down there. Like I said, I like the Saints. I like what Tyler Shuck did last year. It just kind of feels like when you look at the salary cap, it's just they just kind of feel like one of those teams, and just rock construction wise, I just think that I would take other rosters to be over them. But who knows? It's like I said, this is just an early season power ranking here, but that's just what I kind of view with the Saints. It's kind of weird. Next up, we got number 14. Now, listen, I hate to say this, but I think it's Washington. I really do hate it. I hate it, though. I really do. I really hate it. And the thing about Washington is that Washington is, I think they're, like I said, I think they're still rebuilding and still focusing around it with the future. I mean, like these three teams down here are like teams that like worried about the future. You know, they're not really worried about winning right now. They're just worried about winning in the future, what they got coming out here for the future. And it kind of feels like Washington's another one of those teams that is kind of looking forward to the future. Because, I mean, they're basically going to be building around Jane Daniels, right? That's basically what it is, right? That's what Washington's really doing. They're trying to build a team. They're trying to build a system around Jaden Daniels because he's going to be there long term. Now, they did get Stephon Diggs, but you can't guarantee he's going to be long term. In your offense, Zach Ertz maybe not be coming back this year. I mean, that was a bad injury to end out the season. I mean, hopefully he does come back because I thought he was very impactful when he did play, but it turns out I don't think he might not play. I don't know. We'll see. Defense still got a lot of work to do. I don't really like the secondary for Washington. Otherwise, I do like the front though. I think the front is pretty good. It's pretty decent there. My main problem about Washington is their secondary because their secondary has been getting picked apart over the last couple of years, and I don't think this team really made that adjustment. Like I said, I hate to say it, it kind of sucks for me to put Washington this low, but it just kind of feels like one of those situations that I have to. I'm sorry, Washington. I know I'm gonna get shot in the comments for this, but I'm sorry. Next up, we got number 13. I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons. Listen, I don't know what's going on with the Falcons. Like I said, the Falcons are another one of those key pieces that I do think that they are very talented when it comes down to like their depth. I mean, Drake London has been very improving. I really like what I've been seeing out of him the last couple of years. Bijan Robinson, probably one of the best running backs in football, right? I mean, like I said, the Falcons are actually one of those teams that has actually some talent to go out there and actually win their division. Like I said, I think they have probably one of the best pieces and probably one of the best players, one of the best like future star players on the roster, but I just don't really see why Atlanta is just not a good of a football team, and that's kind of like what we've been seeing a lot over the last couple of years. And I know when I've been looking at that, I just don't think that they're really gonna be a reminiscent team. They kind of feel like a team that is gonna have to make like a couple moves for them to be an actual good team, but don't really like the quarterback situation for there. I mean, either Michael Penix or Tua Tagovailoa. I don't know who's gonna be end up starting on there. I haven't heard any reports of who's going to be starting down there, but right now it's maybe looking towards Tua. I'm not sure, but regardless of the outcome here, I'm not really liking the quarterback situation. I think their defense still got a lot of work to do. I think the offense really has to, like I said, first of all they have to choose who their starting quarterback is, and they want, and as soon as you find that out, you have to go from there. But like I said, I haven't heard any reports about who's starting a quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. I think it will be Michael Penix, but like I said, who knows? And it's not a good situation to be a part of that offense. Next up, we got number 12, and this is, like I said, I don't really like this, but I think, honestly, it's got to be the Carolina Panthers. Like I said, I don't really want to put them this low because, like I said, they just ended up winning the division. They were actually one of the most improved teams in football last year, but I just don't think the Panthers are constructed with enough like to actually go out there and just meet me to believe that they're going to make any kind of a push or going to make it anything of an upgrade from this last year. Like I said, it was very cool, and I was rooting for them, right? Like I said, they almost beat the Rams in the wild card weekend. It was one of the most unbelievable things we ever seen, but I think this team fights. I think Bryce Young is getting better and better every single year, and I think the Panthers kind of like in the same situation as the Commanders, the whoever Arizona starts, like they're kind of like in the same situation as as Washington here. They're going to do whatever it takes to build a team around Bryce Young. That's what the Panthers are going to do. Now what they do have is Tevin Milton on the roster, and he won Rookie of the Year last year, and he was really good. Like what he saw last year at Coker was pretty good. Overall, I do think the Panthers got some talent on this football team. As a matter of fact, I think their defense has actually gotten a lot better this offseason here. So the Panthers are going to be one of those teams that I can absolutely see them beating some teams that they're not supposed to beat. I can absolutely see that because we seen that hard from the Panthers last year. I think their coaching situation is getting better. I think, like I said, I think Bryce Young's getting better last year, and I think that defense is very much improving here. So I think this is a start of a right direction for the Panthers. You know, if they keep going through this if they keep going through this rhythm that they're on, I think they could actually be up to something here. Not just for now, but just what's coming up for the next couple of years, especially because especially like in the division that you're in, your division's terrible, so you could go out there, win the division again, but everything's pointing towards the right directions for the Panthers. This is just the start of it. Next up, we got number 11. I'm going to go with the Giants. Listen, I do think the Giants are very much going to be an improved team. Like I said, I'm not really expecting them to go out there and make the playoffs or anything like that because they're extremely young in that team. I mean, they do got their veteran OBJ back. I mean, that would definitely help, and I do think Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh. I think he will. I think he's going to elevate that team because he's a much experienced coach playing with younger guys or coaching younger guys. So I do think that's going to help out the Giants a lot here. But like I said, I'm not really expecting the Giants to make a leap. Yes, I am expecting them to be better than what they were last year because they were awful last year. I expect them to be better last year, but I bet Harbaugh to coach his young guys. And he actually has a lot of good young gun in there. Like I said, you have Jackson Dart, who I thought was pretty good last year, was pretty decent, right? I don't think he was the best quarterback, but I think he was pretty decent last year. You had him in with Cam Scatterboo. I loved the way how this man played before he got injured, and like I said, it was very unfortunate that he got injured, but really liked how he played. I thought the defense kind of looked better slowly as the season was improving. The offense looked really good. Like I said, the Giants, they actually fought and they actually hanged around with some tough games last year, so it's very going to be interesting to see how they do this season. Next up, we got number 10. I'm going to go with Green Bay. Listen, I don't think Green Bay has the best roster on paper here, to be completely honest with you. I mean, Green Bay, like I said, Jordan Love is a decent quarterback. I think, like I said, he's another one of those players I think is going to get better every single year that he plays, and I think he's shown a lot of progress here. But at the same time here, like, we don't know the situation of Green Bay. We don't know about what their players are going to be back. We don't know what their offense is going to look like, or we don't know what their defense is going to look like. Because if you guys ever heard yet, Michael Parsons might not even play for half of this year. And if that's the case, then that's going to be a problem for Green Bay because they actually do have a tough schedule coming out to start the season here. And, you know, if he gets out or if he's not playing for half of the season, think about what the position Green Bay is going to be in when they do get Michael Parsons back. So that's going to be interesting. By the way, I will say this as well. I'm not a fan of the Packers offense. I'm not a fan of it. I mean, Josh Jacobs, like I said, you can't complain about him. He's a very great running back that you would love to have in any system that you would play in, but at the same time, their wide receiver core is looking pretty bad right now, pretty honestly. I mean, they got Romeo Dobbs this offseason. I think Watson right now, I almost said Peyton Watson, but Watson's their number one wide receiver right now. I just don't really like the position that Green Bay's offense is to really give them a chance to really go out there and just really compete. You know, I don't think they're one of the worst teams in the NFC. I think they're going to be a decent team. I just don't expect them to be like anything special. Next up, we got number 9. I'm going to give it to the Minnesota Vikings. Like that, I've been a big fan of the Vikings. Like I said, I've been a big supporter of them for years, and I'm going to put them in 9th place here. Yeah, I do like that. However, you guys know I'm going to say first, I love their defense. I love Brian Flores. I love their defense. I don't think they're going to have any problems on that side of the ball. But like I said, the Vikings, there's literally the same story of me saying like every single year, the Vikings could be a really good football team depending on how the quarterback plays. You know, Kyler and J.J. McCarthy was terrible last year. And if you guys haven't known that, Kyler Murray took his number 1 quarterback job, and I think that's respectable here. But like I said, the Vikings have the team, the quarterback that's really good is in the right system for it. Like that, a bunch of wide receiver talent, but bunch of offensive weapons. Have one of the best defenses in the NFL, and one of the best defensive coaches in the NFL. I think Kevin O'Connell is still a great coach. So I just think Minnesota is just they're just one great quarterback away from being like a Super Bowl contender. Like I said, I think this team can go out there. I think Kyler Murray can do really well with this offense. I think he will do better than J.J. McCarthy last year, meaning I do think the Vikings are going to have somewhat of a chance that they had compared to last year. But heads up for the Vikings. I think they're going to be decent. Next up, we got number 8. I'm going to go with Tampa here. Listen, I'm not the greatest. I'm not the best fan of Tampa's roster right now, but I still think they're good. I think one thing, I do think they're still going to be the best team in their division. I mean, like I said, I think that team is absolutely awful, but I think Tampa Bay is going to bounce back. I think Tampa Bay has the most weapons on that roster. I like White. I mean, I think he's been pretty well. I like Megadabuka. Let me tell you this. I am very excited to see what he does this year. I think he's going to erupt this year. Remember, there's no Mike Evans on the field this year for Tampa Bay, so I think he's going to erupt. The Buccaneers actually have a really good receiver core here. I like the running back core. I think Baker Mayfield is going to bounce back from last year, even though he got off to a really good start this year. But the second half of the season was a little downpour, but I do think he will bounce back. I like their defense. Vita Vea, I think that was a great move of keeping him. I mean, I always enjoyed the offense, and I always enjoyed the defense. I think Tampa Bay is going to be a very fun team to watch this year. Next up, we got number 7. I'm gonna take Dallas. Like I said, I'm still very concerned about about their defense. Like I said, they did. I did hear some really good things in preseason, of like saying that the Cowboys defense got better. You know, they're getting into the system, they're getting into that formation. But the Cowboys remind me of one of those teams like you just can't you can't see it. You can't. We need to see it to believe it. That's kind of like in the same. That's kind of like in that situation the Cowboys are. No matter what, I don't have a problem about their offense. I still think their offense is going to be one of the most dynamic, funnest, incredible offenses in the NFL. George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, Williams, like I said, they're going to be. I have no concerns once and forever on the offensive side of the ball for them. It's just the defense. Like I said, if the defense plays well, they obviously could be one of the best teams in football. But like I said, we just need to see it to believe it. Now we got number 6. I'm gonna go. I think this one's a tight one here, but I think I'm gonna give it to the Bears. I'm gonna put the Bears in number 6. Still think the Bears have one of the most explosive offenses. I mean, not one of the most explosive, but I do think they have one of the most funnest offenses in the NFL, if that makes sense. Caleb Williams was a dog last year. Loved the way how he played. I do like Colston Loveland for them. Colston Loveland is a dog, and I think he's absolutely going to produce this year. Now the reason why I put Chicago right next to Dallas is because they are two great teams that have the same exact issue. They have one of the most funnest offenses. Bears have one of the most funnest offenses. Dallas has one of the best offenses in football. But the problem is the Bears defense. I don't like the Bears defense right now. It was pretty bad last year, especially in the secondary with the QBs. I'm just not a fan of their defense. Now, if they do fix up their defense, they're basically in the same situation as Dallas. Like if they fix their defense, they could be like one of the best teams in football. And until they fix that defense, like I said, we just need to see it to believe it. But the Bears showed a lot of heart last year. What I think about all the comebacks that they had last year, that's why I'm putting them barely just above Dallas, because we've seen some more out of the Bears and the Cowboys. But I still think those two teams are going to be very decent this year. And there's two teams, if they pick up their defenses, who knows? It could be one of the best teams in the NFL this upcoming season. Now we got number 5. I'm going to take the Eagles to start off my top 5. I still think this is a really good roster. You know, even losing A.J. Brown, I still think this team is going to be really good. Very, very curious to see how Devontae Smith enters the season as his first official season as a wide receiver 1 in Philadelphia. That's going to be very interesting to watch here. It's going to be very interesting to watch, see how Saquon Barkley bounces back too. Remember, Saquon Barkley, I mean, he's still a really good running back, but he wasn't nowhere near as productive last year than it was 2 years ago when he won the Super Bowl. So it's very going to be interesting to see how Saquon Barkley, how does he get off to a good start? Does he go back to what he's been doing last year, or what he's been going off, or does he start the way how he's been going off his Super Bowl year? I think that could be a very big outcome or difference maker there. I'm not really too worried about their defense. I still think they have a great defense, with especially Cooper DeJean. I think it's been fantastic. I think the Eagles still have a lot of great cornerbacks, and they can throw it at you in safeties. I still think they have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. So I'm not really worried about that side of the ball, the defensive side of the ball, and the O-line. Not too worried about that. It's just how the offense produces. Like I said, even though the Eagles were still a good team last year, I think the main reason why they kind of struggled last year is because their offense could couldn't really get going. But if they get that offense going, that you guys know how potential and how good how good this Philadelphia Eagles team could be. Now we got number 4. I'm gonna go with the Lions here. I still think the Lions have one of the most explosive, funnest offenses into watching football. I think Jared Goff is getting better every single year. I mean, watching Detroit Lions offense is just an offense that you can just never get bored of watching every single year. They have so much talent, so much explosiveness. Like that, the Lions are just absolutely incredible when it comes down to the offensive side of the ball. Now their defense, I do think it's solid. I don't think it's as bad as Chicago's or Dallas will be seen from last year. I mean, they do have their flaws, and that's why I'm putting them at number 4. I still have like 3 teams I can still take ahead of the Lions here, but don't get me wrong, I still think the Lions are a great team. I think they're going to go out there, they're going to do pretty well this year, and if they upgrade that defense well as their offense explosive, Gibbs should be one of the best running backs in football. St. Brown is a phenomenal. Jameson Williams is a really good wide receiver too to have. Like I said, not really concerned in anything in the Lions offense. I think it just depends on their defense a little bit and see if they step a little bit. And also Dan Campbell for not going on fourth downs all the time. Now we got number 3, and it's kind of funny because we have 3 and 3. Our top 3 are literally in the same division here. But number 3, I'm gonna go with San Fran. Like I said, I think San Francisco is in a really good spot right now. I think as a Rams fan, I hate to say this, but I think they're in a great spot to do some damage this year to the NFC. Now the key for them is, like I said, is just staying healthy, because we already know what this team is capable of. I think this team is one of the most stacked rosters in the NFL right now. I think that offense is going to be dynamic. I think that addition to Deebo Samuel going back to this team, I think that's going to be huge. Brock Purdy, I think he's been a decent quarterback all of his career. If he keeps playing the way he's playing, Mac Jones was incredible last year when Brock Purdy got hurt, so that is already a good sign. So I think this offense is going to be explosive. I think they're going to put up a lot of points. Now their defense could be a little bit questionable. Then overall, it's pretty good, but it led some lines last year that could be pretty questionable, right? And I think that they fix up a little bit of that. I do think this team will be really good. But like I said, it's just depending on their health. Can they stay healthy throughout the whole season? That adds TBD. But we already know what this Niners team is capable of if they stay healthy. Number 2, I'm gonna go with the champs. I'm gonna take Seattle on this one, and I really could talk about both of these two at the same time. I'm gonna take the Rams. Yes, I know I am a Rams fan. I know a lot of people are gonna call me biased in the chat here, but I don't care. Listen, I still think Seattle is a hell of a football team. I still think that they are going to absolutely dominate the league. But the thing about Seattle is they did actually lose a lot of key players this offseason that I thought they were going to stay on the roster, and that's why I'm going to put them behind the Rams, because the Rams obviously should be the best team in the NFL this year. Like if the Rams don't make it to the Super Bowl this year, it'll be one of the most disastrous super teams I think we ever seen in NFL history. I mean, this roster was already great from last year, and then they added in Myles Garrett, potentially Aaron Donald again. Like I said, we haven't heard any information if he's coming back, but right now he's been practicing a lot, so that makes you think like the answer is going to be yes. Plus, they got Trey McDuffie and others. I just think the Rams have so much talent on this roster that I think is just ridiculous. Plus, I think we're starting to see that in the preseason now, how much depth the Rams have here. So those are my so yeah, with Seattle Rams, you could literally talk about them two teams at the same time because they have so much talent on both sides of the ball. But I'm gonna go with the Rams as my number 1 spot for the NFC here. Like I said, if you guys are ready, make sure to hit the like and that subscribe button. Make sure to check us out. If you guys agree with these standings, make sure you guys please let me know in the comments below, anything like that. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna hop out of here because you guys can watch it on time. Appreciate y'all support. It's BearNation.com. Peace out. Stay safe. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.